Well, welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining today for the Public Works Department, it is your Director of Public Works, Bill Balke. Bill, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thank you for being on. A lot of things have been going on here in the last, you could say in the last under 24 hours, but some different things going on with the wells in Fitchburg. And two different storylines here. We have a boil water precaution that came out last night for the Greenfield area. And we actually had you scheduled to talk about the voluntary sprinkling system, cutting back on sprinkling. But those are two separate issues. So we're going to deal with these two separately here. We'll start with the boiling water precaution. If you could kind of tell us what happened last night around 4:30 p.m. With one of the wells.
Yeah. Last night yesterday afternoon, we were doing some maintenance on one of the wells in our southern system, and that's south of Irish Lane in the Sain Road area, Greenfield Park area. So we got an alarm last night saying that we had low pressure and then actually no pressure. And so we investigated that, got their water pressure going back up again, water flowing. And then what that entails is when the pressure drops to nothing like that, there could be potential for contamination into the water system. So as a precaution, we're asking the residents of that area to boil their water for 48 hours until we get the test results back and confirm the presence or not presence of any bacteria that might be in the water. So just your drinking water, just make sure that, over this time, if you've got any ice makers, turn those off. If you need to drink any water, make sure it's boiled or bottled water. And you can dishwashing is safe as long as you got one of those high temp settings for like a sanitizing that you're using. You can use it for that. So we just it's a precautionary measure until we get the test results back. Those should happen late Friday, and then we will be posting notices on everybody's door again. Yeah, we're good, go back to water usage, or what the next steps would be beyond that.
And how I asked you this question earlier, just so I could understand it a little bit, but how do we ensure that how'd you guarantee this one area specifically and not that this has gone further than what you guys have spelled out so far?
Yeah, actually this is our southern zone, and there's a valve located on Sain Road that isolates that southern zone from the rest of Fitchburg. So everything south of Irish Lane is isolated in its own area on its own wells, and that's how we determine that area.
As far as well maintenance goes, there's a lot of things that go into it. I'm sure I don't know everything, and maybe it'll be a future interview for us to talk about it. But was this a routine? When this alarm came on, was there other things factoring into it just to help people understand what happened here, and that you guys were on top of the solution?
Yeah, when we were doing the maintenance on the well, there's two wells in the southern zone, and when we were doing maintenance on one of those, the other one was in operation. When we brought the other one, after we had done our maintenance and the flushing, it was calling for water from that other well that wasn't on. And so when we found that out, we quickly, got out there and turned it back, or, switched it around so that the other well was operating and water could be supplied.
Yeah, and there's a lot of checks and balances too that go on with the water and checking the water. So I think for reassurance, after however the test comes back, and like I said, if it comes back that there's some other things we need to do, we'll get the information out. But if the test does come back normal, people to ensure some safety here, do you guys do extra, so you put some extra chlorine in and during this time, but will there be any other instructions for once you get things back up online for people who are in the affected area?
Well, when things are back online, we'll just send you a notice saying enjoy the water. We're very sorry for the inconvenience that it caused you, but yeah, it's just business as normal then.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the other well. Again, a different scenario. You had taken a well offline for what I believe would be some maintenance. I'll let you give us some info on that. But we put out a voluntary sprinkling restriction notice, if you will. Tell us about what's going on with that project.
Yeah, we had to take one of our wells out of service because it was dropping the amount of flow that we were generating out of there. So we took it out of service to do some emergency maintenance before the peak season hit for water usage. And we noticed, a trend where the water usage was increasing, and it was reaching a point where it wasn't, going to totally restrict usage, but it was to the point where we said, we should probably look at, if we can, do some conservation out there, voluntary conservation, it would help us out through this time while the well's out of service. So that's what we did. We put out a voluntary notice for our residents to maybe, cut back on their usage for lawn watering, outdoor usage and things like that, just so that we, can provide that fire protection and usage for domestic use. Um, as soon as we said that, it seemed like, the water usage dropped about in half again. And, the rain helped out, the weather helped out. So we're not really in that zone anymore, but through the next couple of months, just keep that in the back of your mind that, we might be trending up there again, and we should maybe, look to voluntarily reduce our usage.
And what if it did continue to increase and you got to that point where you're getting in restrictions? What does that look like? So we get to the restrictions. Does it come by certain hours of the day? Total ban on sprinkling. What are some of the options that you have in your toolbox?
Yeah, we would look at, a total ban for water sprinkling, or like you had mentioned, that we could look at, limited restrictions on weekdays or weekends during the day or the night. And we would look to, enforce that either through citations or, just knocking on people's door and saying, hey, we need this water. So, yeah, it's just something that we would be, looking to do. But right now, I think we're in pretty good shape. And as long as things stay as they are, we'll be okay.
If there were and let's talk about worst case scenario, if the usage was low and we had a fire or some use where we needed a lot of water, what would happen? And let's use the fire case. The fire department shows up, try to start, hooked up to a fire hydrant and start pumping water. And what happens in those scenarios where the water usage is way too far up and you need that water?
Our zones are pretty redundant, and we have the capacity to transfer between the zones. So we would be shutting some areas down for flow, redirecting the flows from different water towers or booster stations into that area. So we have the capabilities of doing that. There wouldn't be any, major impacts on, domestic usage, but we do have the capability of redirecting the water.
That's good to know, but not your safe haven, if you will. I mean, still taking the restrictions seriously and doing things that help. Reminder: it's you water in the morning before 9 or after 9 p.m. That works better in your favor, anyways. If you are even considering doing some watering, you're also advising probably not a good time to put in a new lawn right now, Bill.
Yeah, I did that many years ago myself, and I didn't see rain for 90 days. It was horrible.
Yeah, that would make it real tough. But as far as wrapping it up, talk a little bit about the ongoing maintenance of wells, of water safety, and the future, as you keep working through different scenarios, because I'm sure, like anything else, these wells throw some different problems or issues at you, and you continue to deal with them.
Yep, we've got a contingency plan, emergency contingency plan that we update and we operate by. So as we get new staff, we're going over these new procedures and making sure everybody's online with those. We have a maintenance plan for all of our wells as well. And, we're just continually training and making sure that they are in top condition. So we have a very good redundant system. So we've got backups to the backups, and we make sure that, if there is any water impacts to our customers, we notify them, upfront, as quickly as we can about those issues. So if there is a tag on your door, we'll put an orange tag on your door if there's an emergency or something that needs to happen by you right away. So we do door-to-door notification. We also do, our website, Fact TV notifications. So please tune into those things. We keep information up to date there as well.
All right, Bill, I know you're busy. I appreciate your time and the update, and we'll look forward to having you back on the show real soon.
All right, appreciate it, Jay.
All right, make sure you check out the website as Bill mentioned. And yeah, if there is any issues within your area, they will be out in your area and can notify you by knocking on the door or putting that slip on the door as well. And we'll keep you up to date after the test results come back for the boiling water precaution. Take a quick break, more to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.